I started off playing at age 3. I started playing drums at age 3. Till now, I would rather play drums than play keyboard. But I don't know. I don't know why. So at age 5, I now picked up love for keyboard. Then I used to train myself by ears. So during service, I'll make sure that I pay attention to any hymn that was sung. And then by the time service is done, I'll now look for toy keyboard. All those toy keyboard are here. And start picking out the melodies one by one till I'm able to play the melody of the whole hymn at age 5. No? So I grew up and my parents came to Lagos and then they got into Fountain of Life Church. Why I'm blessed is because my family noticed that at birth, we don't know say this one. Now music be in life. You know how your parents will see you and say, you want to do music? No. You will be an engineer by force. Science class, yeah, let's go. No, but there were prophecies that came forth at that time that this boy is destined to be great, but through music. If you try to do anything to stop him from doing anything music, that is when your family will begin to suffer. So my parents gave me full support of doing music. And my dad used to be a DJ. So every album that was coming out at that point was in my ears constantly. The first T.D. Jakes Potter's House album, first Kirk Franklin's album, first Bob Fitts album, first Hillsong album. I can keep going on and on. Even all those Church of the Cross. There was no song I was not listening to. And that time, I wasn't really taking music serious. What was happening was I was constantly in the environment because these songs were played morning, afternoon, night, morning. So I literally grew up listening to different kinds of music. I didn't know it was going to affect me later in the future. I kept listening. And then watching Potter's House, I didn't feel like there was any church in Nigeria that would be or sound like Potter's House. So I went to Fountain of Life one time. I was 9 at that time. And then suddenly I saw this choir singing. And it was like I was watching Potter's House choir. For my mind, I can't say, so this kind of church in Nigeria. Like you see how you see choirs with robes and then, hey, God. And then there was this guy that used to play the keyboard at that time. His name is Brother Richard. In fact, that is my heart blesses him every day. He's the reason why you people know SMJ today. I know it's the one who know Mastercraft. But me, I'm telling you direct from the source now. There was a man that his name is Mr. Richard. He was the one that put me on keyboard and told me, do re mi fa sol la ti do do ti la so fa mi re do. Oh yeah, for 1 month. And that was what I was playing consistently for 1 month. And as I play my own like this, he was seated by me. Just go turn here, face you, they play you, you go. First to finish. He took me in. Now, at this point, I was still very young, but I was already in the mix of good music. At a very young age, I was already in the mix of, I was in every rehearsal. I was coming to rehearsals from school. They use uniform, come church. Sometimes I use school uniform to play service. And then, growing up, everything started expanding. And I knew what it means to arrange music. I knew what it means to rehearse. I knew what it means for a main player to play and an auxiliary player. Because when I see 2 keyboards playing, I wonder, which one are 2 they play? I had to understand that, okay, somebody is playing main and somebody is actually backing up just to make the music fuller. I knew what it means to have horn session. No be all these trumpets where you follow road now, you go to hear person, they blow trumpet. Horns, like complete horns, trombone, trumpet, saxophone, tenor sax. Complete horn session. You go, yeah, brah! You go, no say, I want this one out, brass. You know, I kept learning. Then, they took me to play for the children's church. In Fountain of Life, I played for the children's church. I played for youth choir. I played for main choir. I played for singles choir. I played for Abraham and Sarah. Those one are the old generation of. I was playing in every service in church. I played for church vigil. And so they carry me go around. There was a time in church, and as at that time when I was working, I don't even know, say, musicians, they big. That's, at some point, they will say, this person is a good musician, a very big. I was just passionate about wanting to be good. I didn't have in my head that I want to play for this platform, or I want to be the number one keyboardist. I just did rehearse. There was a time in church where I was playing for the youth church, and the main choir wanted to do God Alone by Marvin Sapp. And a statement was made, because they tried all the pianists in the church and nobody could play. Then I said, okay, there is one boy in the youth church. His name is Samuel. That is the only person that can save us from this song now. That's how they sent somebody to call me from the youth church. Leave whatever you're doing now and come. I played God Alone. I was like, who's this small boy? Now, the drama now started. You know, when our ogas now see that people that are younger than them now wants to be taking their job, then a spirit will now start manifesting to show, say, you are small, so I'll put you where you are. And then it happened that they started locking keyboards with padlock and key, just to make sure that I don't rehearse. So I come to church, I want to rehearse. They will say, go and write letter to the chief of staff to tell the to tell the admin to give you key. And then when you collect the key, when you are done, bring the key back to this thing, write your name, date, sign, to rehearse. It didn't happen. They literally were locking the keyboard because of me. Apparently, at that time, I used to rehearse more hours than they used to rehearse. So they're like, who's this boy that's always wanting to... Sometimes, even drum and go, they do anything. I just say, Samuel, just go and try. By the time I try and one take, go at church, just scatter. They say, you see? Will you come down from that drums and get out of this place? In fact, they humiliated me one time. They allowed me play the rehearsal. For my mind, I know they look, say, I almost on this service. Go. Una here go. I go do suits, carry suits where? Just reach. Samuel, don't worry. The drummer that's going to play the song is around, so you don't have to worry. How? Instantly, and God is my witness, I went to the toilet, took off my suit, took off everything. I talked like that talking. I talk out. I just throw everything. So all this hard work, after I've prepared, I come and then you're telling me the Ancient of Days has come and he's the one that's going to, play the song. So I had to grow in that, but I did not allow any of that affect my passion as at the time. Now, I didn't even know that people were being paid to be a keyboardist in the church. I just knew that musicians did. And there were plenty. I think the church had about 50 musicians that time. There was 3 of every instrument. So the day where come, don't worry, back up day. It was that structured, But I kept rehearsing. Then I now heard, or I came in contact with Dr. Tingofri's music. I come the year, have you heard Sonny? Have you heard Sonny? Have you heard? So that was his name at the time. Yes, Sonny. Who is that? So I bought that Igbo medley album that year. See, ladies and gentlemen, I scored that album to the point that I want to talk this thing. They started naming me after Mastercraft. Like his name was Sonny Weke. They started calling me Samuel Weke because now I started sounding like him in every way. Like I listened to the album so much, and there was a force that was pulling me towards that sound because by default, I always like to go for something new. I'm attracted to, I hate mediocre music. You see all these do, so, la, fa, we'll play, let's invite the Holy Spirit. I'm a pastor's son. So I know what it is. But when that has now become the trend, I have an issue with it. Instead of being part of that atmosphere, I'd rather just go outside and go and stay. Those or laugh. How do you want me to improve? You bring choir songs. Our choir song for next Sunday is Imela by Nathan Ebasi. And how far is this? Those or re for how long? Like, is that what I was created for? So I came in contact with your album, and then I scored every song in the album, and then I didn't know that the divine orchestration was coming. Now this was what happened. We used to do every 1 week program called Worship His Majesty. Like they invite artists every day. Apparently on this very night, Sam Ekposo was on the lineup. Dr. Tingofri was on the lineup too. I had heard of Mastercraft, but I've never met him. That day, I was supposed to play for the youth choir. And the song go rehearse now. I love you, Jesus. I worship. I scored one of his licks. One time, I don't look, say, any day where me and this guy meet, I also play this lick. And when I won't play, I go push my volume way busy. May it distort everything, but the whole church must hear. I didn't know he was coming that day. So they came. Apparently, news had gone around that there is one small boy that is in Fountain that sounds like you. So he was expectant. I have not met him, but I knew that one day we'll go share and meet. Then he came to our church. We were the first to play. Them Sammy, they don't first play. Burst everywhere. No, powerful. They called youth choir. We played. He was seated. At that time, I was shy. I was looking down half of the whole time. And then God come to that space. Condi. I can't play that league. See, God took all the glory, sha. But apparently, I didn't know what was happening. It was when we were done, people now said, "Oh, when you were playing, Sonny was on his feet throughout. He was standing. He was like, this boy, who be this boy? Blah, blah, blah." I shall met him. Then, they now called them. They now started. Then I knew that the kind of Eba we are be that time. I was on my knees. They ministered for 1 hour and some minutes. I was on my knees throughout when Mastercraft was playing. Mind you, other musicians had played. There were other A-list artists in the building. They don't play, don't scatter everywhere. But when Mastercraft came up, there was something about him and the way he played that put me on my knees throughout. Like I was on my knees. I was not just there. I was there. I was crying. See, why person would they play? What did they play? Why they play like this? I'm not joking. I was crying. And then he met me. Then, this is some. No. There's something about you. You have to come. You have to. I'm telling you the story behind the SMJ. People know now. You have to come. Let's meet. We'll do. Okay. 2010 was when I met him. 2011, I went to meet him in the studio. When people say, SMJ and Mastercraft, Debbie, most people, what they have in their head is that, Mastercraft, they tell me, say, guy, Alpha, put your hands on it, play Team Ila, then on your right hand, hold Sodufa, and then Mastercraft is very impatient. He does not have the patience to, if he tell you one thing once, if you don't take him, the next thing that will come out from his mouth, you feel end your career. He no get patience. Sometimes if he's playing, he expects that as he's playing, it is enough privilege for you to stand and watch him. So anything where you know peak, your life don't spoil with that. To now ask him, Master, I beg, what did you play? If you collect slap. That was the story between me and him. I literally was standing the whole time, watching him play, and then he will leave, and then I'll try to replicate what he has played, and he will hear from outside. Come here, guy, Alpha, play that thing again. Play that thing again. That was what gave him joy. The fact that he didn't have to explain to me or tell me, guy, Alpha, no, okay, when I'm not trying it, that's when he will now say, oh, nobody called I play with this. I will tell you I play with this. That was our story. June 28th, his birthday. Apparently, all the time that I used to be with him, Extreme used to come and voice and all of that. That's why they say sometimes your gift will get you there. Your character is what will keep you there. Which is what most musicians suffer. I didn't know that all the times that Doctor was coming to work with Mastercraft, he was watching me to see this guy, you should say in. I was always careful about the things I say. I was always careful about how I dressed. I was always careful, my reaction, even when people say things I don't like. Because you just never know. As at that time, it was still not about making money or having influence. Or I was just passionate. I just wanted to be good and be good to myself and let God be proud of me. June 29th, he now said, bring him to rehearsals. That's how I entered Extreme rehearsals. By the way, in my life, since I started music, I've never done auditions. I've never been auditioned for some reason. And maybe that's God's plan. Say I play finish now, person can say, so you're playing, do not, you're called no fool, but we just, I've never done auditions. I came to Extreme rehearsals, and next thing I heard was, Samuel plays the keyboard. How would you tell me to play in front of Extreme crew, as at the time, all the singers, Dr. King Godfrey, Perpetua, Bros Nana, bass, Myro, drums. Then Mastercraft. We now say I should play. Which I won't play. Worst part? In the key of E. Hey, God. I play rubbish, No. I remember I played rubbish. Next thing I heard was, let's clap for it. Because in fact, I didn't hear let's clap. What I heard was get out. Get out of the keyboard. That's what I heard. It was doctor. So I just get out of that keyboard. All right, singers, let's go. Anyway, done rehearsing. That get out there, till today, it still rings like the voice of God. Get out. Say, Next thing I heard was, so Sam is now part of Extreme. Sam is not part of Extreme. Let's welcome someone into Extreme. Yeah, Extreme crew. Then, when I was in the youth choir, they didn't used to, if choir don't rehearse finish, me, I would do like 2 hours, 3 hours. I would score a melody. Play all the syncopation like I was playing it like Mastercraft will leave Extreme tomorrow and they will call me to come. No. When I now went to break the news to them, I've joined Extreme. They're like, congratulations. Long story short, I joined Extreme 2011. I was in Extreme for 3 years, and all I was doing was carrying sustain pedal. I'm intentionally saying these things because I've realized that a lot of musicians, so there's the promise that God gives. Promised land. There is where we're coming from, Egypt, Pharaoh. But what we like to skip is that 40 years wilderness, which is the process. So people just want to come out from Egypt and enter the promised land. But you can't because most of us, we are good, but we don't have good character. Most of us are good. You know Sabi dress well. Most of us are good. You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to approach people. Most of us are good. Pride. No go greet you cool down. You don't Sabi so do for a play. They'll greet you to answer. Problem. You don't learn German hardware, Triton. Nobody can talk to you in this life. You go to a show, what we have is PSR. I want to play montage by force. For a church, I want to pay maybe 2.5. So where do you want to get montage from? Do you know how much montage is? So I had to learn character. I was carrying pedals, Mastercraft, we'll go show. All these things that, yes, AY, I don't know, maybe he has gone. Connect pedal, play. Mind you, it was events we were going for. I wasn't giving 1 naira. As at the time, when I know those houses where they build on top of water. Do you know those wooden houses that they build on top of water? Like water side, they will come use all those log of wood. That was where, and the room. You see where this drum is? This cubicle like this. That was where me, my mom, and my 3 sisters were staying. On top of water. We dread the days that rain falls because any day rain falls, you see all our property inside the house. Now to the swim, they find where this broom, swim, find where boxer, swim, where television. It was that bad. I was going to Extreme rehearsals from that, but nobody knew. After Extreme, they'll say, Samuel, let's go and meet your family. And I want to meet you. I'm sorry. No, you cannot. I'm going to church. I'm not going home. You can't meet my family. No. Bring you to that place. No. The passage to the house. Good God Almighty. Say python no bite you. It was bad. And to think that I was in extreme, but I was still in the gutter. Some of us here, God has made us kings already, but we are not in the throne yet. That's what happened to David. He was anointed king, but now still sheep in the tender. God had to use that to train him for where he was going next. 3 years, I didn't collect money, I didn't collect transport, going for house, come back. It was later. See, sometimes, I don't know who quoted the scripture of, say it to a man that is diligent in what? Diligence. I'm sure that was what God saw, and he was playing his cards. Little did I know that at some point in time, Mastercraft will leave, and there will be a vacancy. All of this while, I didn't even know that people work for people for a while and then separate. I feel like if we gather the amount out, death do us part, we'll play extreme till we die. I didn't know. Just how many years down the line, Asha was doing my thing. In fact, there was a time I was in Mastercraft and I made one mistake. One normal human being swerve. Imagine your mentor telling you that you should leave his surrounding. He does not want to see you for 2 weeks. That's guy, come out. I don't want to see you around me anywhere where I did. I don't want to see you did here for 2 weeks. Don't call me, don't text me, just go. Because of one small error. That was enough to give up on my dream. My mentor telling me to get out of his face. What did I do? Did I kill somebody? No. It still did not affect where I was going. What I now did was, that 2 weeks, and I gave myself 2 weeks extra, making 1 month. The kind of rehearsal I did. Ha! Like I was, you know those kind of rehearsal where we said, if you see who you want follow shed, as you they play, the blood go to come on for the person body. See, I went to rehearse so that the next time me and him meet, hey, someone, have fun. You don't take what year you want. Most of us, what we'll do is, get out of my food. Now, dear, everything ends. No more rehearsal. No more church. In fact, I'm not going to church. I've given up on my career. I want to be a carpenter. Or I want to clean the church or mop the church. Most of us have given up on our dreams because of what somebody said. He told me to go. I came back, but I came back better. It had to now be that he now called and said, Alpha, everybody's asking of you. I'm waiting happen. You don't want to come back again. I said, no, I'm coming back. Just give me small time. Fire rehearsal. Again. Apparently he left, and then I came in. Now, when I came in, SMJ, see, I've battled rejection. This SMJ one I know. I have battled rejection in this industry. That people that are my orgas, or supposedly my orgas, were speaking me down. Who be this small boy who could just come industry, just come SMJ. Who does he think he is? And me, I don't go out. You know, Lagos is the hometown of Shed. If you say you tight, I will give you location. May you go see where boys dey. But you will never see me in that kind of gatherings. Why? The motive behind that gathering is very wrong. This guy that just finished playing the drum. If you say, oh, if you didn't catch anybody, if you reach Lagos, you will not see him. Go to any church, enter any studio, ask, tell them you are looking for Kewe. The people that will tell you, say, even we too, we are looking for him. No, truth be told, I've studied the minds of people in Lagos, or musicians generally. I know that if we got in Yankee, when they do the rip-off, I've watched one video where it's called the rip-off because you will play something I've not heard before, and I'll ask you, bro, this thing, how did you approach it? And when you're teaching me, it's from a place of love, not, and I'm here now, so, now should they take run now, That's what it means. Okay, I play something you've not heard before. It's Alpha, okay, it's similar, we'll try this, try that. Here, apart from the two people who won't share, the audience, we don't know anything. Now them go come, they analyze. And they tell you, say, this guy, you've died past this one. No, this one. These people, they can't play four. They can't play air. In kick, no full. The tom, no tune. But in sticking, I don't even like the stick when they use. The stick, no. Yeah, okay, that 32. The stick, no stick. See, in 32, no arrange. But, oh yeah, take stick, come and play. Which is why you have to define what your motive is. I heard when I came to the industry that I don't used to go anywhere. SMJ, more go this shit. I'm sorry, I can't. More go this shit. I'm sorry. I have very few friends. Very few friends in the industry. Hughes plays one of them. This one is not just musician friend, like brother. If I call him, no. Even if he's on his dying bed, he will answer me. It took me time to study and know who, some of us, I'll say this, it's not environment you should be in. It's not all outings you should accept. It's not all places you should get into. Why? You are saving yourself from a lot of stress. If you are not ready, don't go. Most people go to prove a point that are tight. You never enter some kind of place where you play finish. You meant to put your hand on that keyboard. Your hand will begin swell. Or you go to places where I've been to an event before where you were playing. Motive. Everybody played. It was fine. When he reached my turn, that's why sometimes praying before you get on stage is very good. I climb stage, play. With the jam. That's how the motive. And he was standing just like this. The motive fell on my two legs. Bah! People don't play this thing since. Why you know for? Imagine them dropping this motive on your legs. Just imagine that kind of thing. Very painful. During performance, so this one is not elevated stage. You know, it's not every place you should get into. And if you're a musician here and you're not prayerful, which is one of my secrets, people don't know. People just feel like, I'll just enter studio, just create melody, just play synth, play bell, pad, synth, drum, solo, igbo, everywhere don't bust. Does not work that way. Most times, most of the live arrangements you hear from me, like this two-face song, I feel this is how it works for me. They might release a song in January. What will happen is, I'll be humming the song. January. I'll hum the song. February, March, April, May. Is in May the whole reason, or the reason why I've been humming the song will now come. That's when I'll now do a live arrangement to it. You people will now feel, my SMJ just want to enter this studio, just arrange this thing, just drop. Mind you, the song, I've been listening to it since January. Some things take time. People will learn something. I've met people that they learn something now. They won't enter all the whole church where they do program. Say, this chord I don't learn. Guys, how far do you all gather band? Let's go. Today, we'll kill them. Piano priest, you know, fool guy. Don't worry. Manny Music, he give us strings, he play, he give us the dubstep, he play with our emotions, the strings. You know, fool guy. You know, jam. You know, wrong mindsets. That's why you will not see me get in the mix until it is correct. I don't know where this problem started from, but until it is corrected. Now, particularly for Port Harcourt, I remember times that I've come to Port Harcourt and I'll listen to people play, keyboard players, drummers. I would wonder, what did happen? Shouldn't I say, when God, they spread music, he just look PH, no. Benin, Uyo. I've met a few people, but every time, and I'm saying major events, you just be hearing mediocre arrangements. What's going on? What happened to all the... I only know few musicians. In fact, the only musician that I know that's a keyboard player that I know, or the ones that I can remember, is DBF. I just heard about him recently. Apparently, he has been following me. I've been seeing some of his posts. There are two piano priests that I know. One is in Benin. Okay, somebody has testified. One is in Benin. I'm just hearing about Manny. Where has he been? All this while. And this is what happens. We hear people do stuff that is good, but we do not do anything about it. Because either say the thing they paying you, or you are you don't want to be the medium God wants to use to allow another person grow. That's what happens. I imagine that a major person in the industry reposts any of these. There's no how I wouldn't have known or seen. You will see Eric Moore place, you will see this one repost, or even if they don't repost, the comment section. A-list musicians go food here. You go to some of our young guys that are doing well, 23 likes. One comment. And the one person, followers now like 10. If we don't see, let me say this truth. There is a battle against musicians. I'm not saying Africa. I have friends in Africa that play music that are doing well. You see this country, Nigeria, there is a battle against musicians. I'm not saying music ministers, the people in forefront, all they doing since then. We that play the music, we behind the drummers, the keyboardists, there is a battle. And until we wake up, see, this, just, you are ready to do this program 50 more times. And when you do it, we'll be talking about the same thing. It is up to us. It is up to the SMJ people know now. That is how the SMJ even came about, self. I don't even know. When I started music production, I didn't want to best producer, or when they call number one gospel producer in Nigeria, I want to SMJ. I just knew that there was something about the gift God gave me, and I want the world to enjoy it. If God now uses that to bless me in return, fine. I'm not trying to, even with Boss himself, suffered rejection. People calculate him as an entertainer, not a music minister. But who are you to even know who is anointed and who is not? God can choose to use a madman on the street and give you a word. But because he's mad, you miss out on God's word for you. That's what we do in this hour. See, I told somebody that it's a big problem because I know most of us here, we play church. The gospel industry right now be secular. The secular people are the ones that are doing the gospel. That is why they are growing at the pace that they are growing. We don't want to give people chance. Look at somebody like Olamide that will forfeit his identity for months just to make sure Fireboy comes out. See how many heads Fireboy collected. And if Fireboy comes tomorrow, collect Grammy. Me, I'm not going to be surprised. They keep growing every day. But we here, small thing, we can't support. That one is already, which is my first point. We don't like to support ourselves, which is why we cannot grow. It's not swear. No. Ambition. It is not swear. We cannot grow. We don't like supporting us. I don't know how that works. It's called networking. If you do something as a keyboard player and tag me, or maybe we start up a challenge. I was doing a challenge, SMJ Soulman challenge. I had played the track a long time ago. I just felt like, okay, let me spread this track to drummers. May I even see? And I met drummers that I don't know, say they did this country. Amazing drummers, some airbars, but everything I was just posting. That's a way of, to them, it's like fulfilling destiny. And I make sure I repost. Because if I don't repost, they will say, this one, no. Both the A list, both the B list, Z list. I was reposting all of them. Nobody is special. We all have different ways of expressing ourselves. That's when I see musicians saying, this person types past this person. How? He plays the way he plays. Piano piece played, we were blessed. Manny Music played, we were blessed. They both approached it from different points. But some people will say, piano piece in loop, full. The Manny Music, full because we don't like to. I was inside the green room. I told them, what are they here to do? I want to come and listen to people play. That's why I came in the time. I'm sure they were preparing me for the Holies of Holy. Let me sit down. Let's know day together. We have to support ourselves. That's the first thing. Second thing, value. This one. Now we cause them. But the one that caused it. And I'll say that in Lagos, now, Getting a job in Lagos is not about how tight you are. If I am good and I'm supposed to go and play an event that will pay me 100K because of the standard I'm trying to create, if they can have somebody that will play 75%, what am I saying? 60, 50% of what I know, that is ready to collect 10K, they will forfeit me and give the other person the 10K. After all, he will give us the same results. And this is what a lot of young guys do. They don't know how to ask questions. Maybe I leave an establishment. They can't say, this church is looking for a keyboardist. You will not call me to ask, bros, how far you left? Is there any reason why you? This church is looking for a keyboardist and they'll pay 30K. You audition. And then, 2-3 years down the line, guy, I hope say you do okay. Oh, bros, just the try. The thing, just church, no, they help me. Oh. Church, no, they. Let me say this. Any musician that is still here and is dependent on church to survive, I'm not going to swear. But whatever your age is now, add 30 more years. And that will be your reality. I'm not swearing. Like I said, I'm a pastor's son. I grew up in the church setting. Nowhere where you want to do church politics center. Me, I did here. If you are waiting for this church to, or you are waiting for this keyboardist to leave this church so that I can fill up the space, there are a lot of things that can be done. The world is now, everything now done digital. It's funny how, I'm sure if I check some of us that are musicians here, if I check your post or your page, have you met musicians that you check their page? This is my name. You check their stuff on Instagram. You see maybe 2 pictures. They say they are a drummer for maybe a big artist. You check their page. There are only 2 pictures there. One of them, maybe Snap West Swimming Pool Day. Maybe the other one, Mr. Biggs, Hangout. There is nothing on your page that talks about you being a musician. You have a problem. You see this idea of posting stuff on Instagram and YouTube. When I had the privilege of meeting international artists, the first thing they will ask you is, what's your YouTube handle? That's the first thing they ask. Or, what's your Instagram handle? So I meet someone like Kevin Rogers or someone like a Kevin Bond and give him my handle. And then he checks me out. Oh, great SMJ of Nigeria. And I have only one picture there that I snapped at Mr. Biggs. It's not this bad. I'm saying we have to do more by creating value. First, if you are a drummer, if you are a keyboardist, you have to have content going out. See, I know that this country has frustrated our efforts. We are everything done tight, everything done hard. See, lockdown was one of the major incidents that revealed the reality of musicians. Bro, I'm telling you that A-list musicians in Lagos were messaging to say, bros, how far? Everything done tight. I'm like, no, the tight are guys. How far? You know the rehearse again. Rehearse. Oh, bros, they find money. So nobody's rehearsing again. Oh, bros, nobody did rehearse again. Oh, it's never chop. Waiting on rehearse. That could have been averted. So this is what happens. We play for church, we collect salary, and then we forget that there is a future. We can't carry, maybe you earn 30K. Just because you want to look good for the church you attend. You carry, now clothes don't expensive. You carry 30K. Go buy clothes. Buy shoe. You have not invested in sustain pedal. You have not invested in, let me start saving up so I can buy a motive. Even if it's a 1-year plan. 10K from every income you make, whatever show you play. Let me buy a motive and keep in the house. These were things we did. When we went for gigs back to back in December, and we made a certain amount of money, we went to London. I packed all the money to London. Bought myself a laptop. Bought myself sound card. Painfully, oh, bought in-ear monitor, bought MIDI keyboard, bought, what else did I buy? Monitors. Little did I know that in March, my concert was in February, The Outsider. I'm sure most of you know. Little did I know that in March, Boa, lockdown. Little did I know. How did this help me? During the lockdown, somebody now reached out to me. And lockdown, you know if you come out. My house to the studio is like 12 minutes. Lockdown, you can't go out. Somebody reached out to me. So I want to work on this album from the US. I want to work on this album and, I've been trying to, well, how do you think we can make this work? So, this is how much I collect. Oh, okay. All right, so how do we get it done? Send me the stuff, I'll work. Ladies and gentlemen, I produced a complete 8-track album on my bed. Worth over 1 million. Small MIDI keyboard, laptop, in here. I'm not joking. And I'm not saying it to take pride in myself. On my bed, as I did submit the song, I saw the alert, they enter. Bram, 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 bram. It was that I told my friends, any alert that enters my phone again, on this bed, I've become a millionaire. Why? Sound card, laptop, monitor. These are things we do. Most of us, we just rehearse. There's no plan. Okay, who's the keyboardist here? Random. Come out. I like to be practical. All right. So, give me a breakdown of one-year plan, where you see yourself, what you hope to achieve, where you want to be, like, in 1 year.
Actually, I'm in school. So, trying to balance music and school. In 1 year, I'll still be in school. I'm just in 100 level. But the level I see myself now, I believe in Uniport, I should set a particular standard. That when people see me, they will know that this guy, school has not been a barricade for his music life. Or because I believe I have a destiny in music. And I still have a destiny in what I'm studying in school. So I believe that in 1 year time, people in Uniport, they go confirm them. They go confirm them. They go hear the real story.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's something. Me, let me tell you guys my story. I ran out of school. Now, let me say this. It might not be true, but I've realized you don't have to take it. Yeah, I'm telling you, me. Finally, school will be for everybody. I am a proof. I'm a proof. I ran out of school. And go to school, study computer engineering. I walk into a class where there are over 600 students. What thing will they learn? And the teacher will just walk into the class and just start writing on there's no greeting, no good morning class. You just start writing on the board and you see people they climb on top people's head. Me, how? I told my parents, see this thing. In fact, my lecturers were part of the people that pursued me out of school because I didn't have time. I was going for extreme shows and back. They just called me one time and said, you, this boy, come. Come and be going. Don't worry, we understand. Just go and do music. When I left school was when I did my first international travel. And it was South Africa we went to. And that was where I met the likes of Kirk Franklin, Marvin Sapp, and the rest. Now, between that time and now, the kind of global recognition I have in history, school would have never given me. Never. You have a record with Travis Green. You have people like Jonathan Nelson rooting for you. You have met literally all the A-list musicians in America. Played stages with Michael Sample. Who? Just call. And the list goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 25. Most of you didn't know. When I think I'll be 30, I'll be pale. I'm 25. Mind you, before now, I was telling myself, by 25, I would not marry, I'd have settled down, I would have. Then I had to understand that things doesn't always go as planned. Some things actually do take time. Now, I don't even think marriage now to another 3 years, 27, 28. Because there's a lot to be done. Where I see myself is, if you notice, I don't, especially when I'm playing with Doctor, you will not hear me do too much. It's only on rare occasions, maybe when we're playing with tracks or Nigeria go, SMJ. What I like to do is I like to respect the reason why the event was created in the first place, and then respect the artist that I'm going with, and respect the music. Some of us have been to events where now them, who can I use? Jason Tyson and Trent, now them day. That one is enough reason for me to hear. See, you will hear the best of me. But I have to respect, because what is the essence of impressing man? The highest compliment you get is, the guy good. That's the highest compliment you get. He did not put one error in your account. But you are playing with an artist that will probably pay you after the show. Why then now destroy the person's image? Because you want to prove to somebody, say, you tight. I'm touching problems that we have. Say, now keep touching. Most of us, we actually don't have plans. We just rehearse. We just want to be good. We just want to be good. Now, I want to give another secret. There is something about honoring people that are ahead of you. This thing, not be everybody could tell you, but me, I'll tell you because I've done it. You see people that are good, sometimes we just walk past. What I like to do is, even if it is sometimes painful sacrifice, now in the good pass. Even if it is taking out, I don't know how much, 10K, I'm going to get a gift for this person. Just take a gift. Somebody that you know has gone ahead in your field. Bro, Safa, this is this perfume. Or this is this clothes. Or this is this shoe. Sometimes it's not about yourself. Make yourself rest first. Sow the seeds now so that later, honor the people that have gone ahead. They are the ones that will take you into places your leg cannot carry you to. This is a secret that I'm giving you for free. All the places that we are struggling as musicians. Oh, I want to play on this platform. I want to. Bro, experience that we played. Hey, it's people's 10-year dream. We don't play experience. How many years now past? I've not just played for Dr. Timothy. I've played as guest artist with Travis Green. 3-state store. three country store. It's some people's plan. I had to go and sow a seed to people that have gone ahead. Ask questions. Bro, experience, how far, how it be? What's the pressure like? What's the... That's how to open, because, like I said, most of us are depending on church. Yes, it's okay to serve. It's okay to do church for a while, but you have to activate some blessings by yourself. If you keep waiting for church, like I said, add 30 years to your age now. They say you cannot survival and advice. If you are not ready to take your next level by force, day where you did, just the rehearse. Just keep rehearsing. You rehearse. Wait till you want to play. What do you want to play that somebody somewhere has not done a million times more? I see people trying to play solo. You feel say you tight. Let's go to the US. 4-year-old boy. See piano, sit down. You come. Oh yeah. Let's see who will run. No plan. Now, you now have to have this mentality, because I've talked about growing up, music, and the secrets. Now, merging music with business is where we all, and I say we all have failed as musicians. We just rehearse, we just play shows, but we're not really financially established. And that's because we're not spending time to improve our... So this is what happens. Most people just... I saw this guy trying to set up motive that you don't go just because of this performance. I'm sure you don't go do track. You put in the effort. Play track, rehearse with the track. I'll do this one, stand alone, no band, him with track. Play everything full. That is a plan. Who knows if that's where music is going gradually? That's what people don't see. You don't need to invite, if you want to bring complete band and they're charging 3 million, I'd have piano priest now. He will come and do one-man band show and we'll have the same feel, 2 million. That's how it works. Even playing in churches, you have to increase the value on yourself because church will keep, it's sad, but they will keep devaluing you. No, it is the moment they know that you are dependent on them. Don't worry yourself. Ask for montage. They will not give you. If we want to change this keyboard, we are not changing anything. Play it like that. There is no value. Sometimes I'm the music director of the youth church. In fact, sometimes I go with my laptop system just to make the church feel that service can actually be better with the use of these tools. Because when you're explaining to them that we need to get keyboard, they be like, say they know they understand. So sometimes I'd like to bring the tools for them to see and hear. That's increasing value. I come for rehearsals, I use my influence, I bring people that if they want pay, they know if you see money pay, bring them. Because of my presence in church, now somebody like IBK can come and sing in our church for free. And the whole church will have the experience. I had to increase the value. Me, it was Samuel I was called in my church before. I left. And then God did it, SMJ. I came back to the same church. And they started calling me what they hear people call me outside. But all the time I was in church, they didn't know that SMJ existed. It was somewhere they knew. I stopped collecting church salary when I was 16. I was not working in any oil and gas company. 16 years, I told them, people should stop paying me. I went to call some small boys. After I'm I come, they play. I will come to church voluntarily. People should not, don't, all this wear uniform, come this time. Silas, Mona, go to do. I stopped it. I didn't know that was the beginning of my breakthrough. Sometimes we have to, what happens is that we are afraid of taking certain steps because we don't know where the thing will land us. But the moment the next step you're about to take, even you yourself don't understand, that's when God will step in. We always want to feel like, as I come on for here, now this thing I won't go to be this. You don't need God at that point. If you want to take a step and you know, say, if I choke my leg, I feel fall or I feel no fall. That's when God. Some of us, our big break is because we have not made that decision. Comfort zone. Man still they collect the money. Man still they, let me still they arrange things. But how long are you going to do it for is the question. How long do you want to be explaining to Male? Male, how far the bar will then give us no two, but just after send I want to get family. Me, I'm like this. People will be feeling like, I must see SMJ as fresh. Bath up, mama. See, if I give you idea of the responsibilities on my head, even with all this music, I play like this. You know, one of the most distressing calls you can ever have is when you look at your phone and you see that your family people that's calling you. If you like, may you tight from now to tomorrow. Music at that very point will escape. Once. But there has to be a balance because people know SMJ is doing well, but they can't equate it to. But in Mali, look at where they're staying. Look. There has to be more. Which brings me to the point that if you are here and you're earning salary from a church, yeah, if it means depriving yourself of even food sometimes to invest in some certain kind of things, trust me, it's painful, but later it will pay you. People do things for now. Man, play them now, man, collect the money now, man, chop them now. But people that are wise do things for tomorrow. As we did like this now, God forbid. How many of us will survive if by December they can't announce? So we are going to phase 55 of the lockdown. Everybody stay in your house. 2 years. How many of us here will survive? If it's sure for you, say you will survive. Raise your hand. When I don't mean life survival, like you could deal okay. God will provide. Good God Almighty. This, until the day you are able to answer this question, then you know you're doing well. That's, you know how they say they know they listen to waiting poor man they talk. You can be in a church. Let me use anybody. Okay, your church. You can be in that church now and tell the pastor, Pastor, please, I want you to increase the salary of the musicians. And the pastor will be looking at you like, who is this? Who is this? Bro, I can come into your church by the influence of maybe he heard us minister somewhere. I would like to have SMJ. And I'll tell your pastor, Pastor, please, I think you need to increase the salary of the musicians. Why? Because I break it down for him and he will listen to me. Why? Influence. This is where all of us need to work ourselves up to. We carry ourselves small. That's why we are treated small. That is why. Nobody can confidently stand out and see, I could hear everybody's pain. And Port Harcourt now, in this one now, the frustration, I can feel it. But it's okay to say, what are you doing? It's okay to, I've seen people message me and say, bros, I'm giving up on this whole music thing. I say, give up where? How? What have you faced? What are you giving up on? Do you know what the future of tomorrow holds? All the people now that are doing well, that are doing music, they will pass. Oh. They will pass. Then when we reach our turn, what will be the excuse? Or, let me now say, okay, so that guy where they hold the trumpet, that is supposed to blow the trumpet on the last day. So just imagine saying one test. In Congo, blow the trumpet. All of us take off. We now stand in front of God. God now says, all of us with the here, all you musicians gathered here, stay like this. Begin to give me the reason why you are still where you are. Waiting, some of us won't talk. What do you think could be your excuse? Think about your excuse. Is it reasonable enough? It's because my church, that's why I know tithe. It's because they were paying me for this one, that's why I no go. Well, my pastor spoke to me anyhow, so I left the church. Sound card too cost, now I no buy them. The sustain pad, I know, it's too expensive. I'd rather use the money chop. That's why you are the way you are. All these questions have to be re-answered. Apparently, I've come to realize that today no go do. So I'm going to arrange with Henry that I'll have to be back again. Now, I was going to just shortly, I would like to try something out shortly. I'll try that thing out. I'll play one more track, and then we're good. Is there any drummer in the house? Drummer. Keyboardist, Nuko. Bass player. Bass player. No. It's not anything hard. I like to try something practical. Because how many of us here play in churches? Okay. So I want to help you move your mind to something that can help a little. Especially when you guys are working together. This is just a general. If there's a drummer here, there's a keyboardist. Bass player, uncle. There's no bass player. Okay. The keyboardist, you can come. Drummer, you can come. Who sings here? Who you sing? Okay. Do you want to sing or should I call somebody? You sing. Okay, come forward. Drummer. Okay, drums, keyboard. We're in the key of F sharp. So, this is what I want to correct. I go into most churches and then I'm sure some of the churches that I know, the pastors are always complaining about church music. The musicians are not this thing. People are not this. I saw one funny video one time. If you want to be paid, you have to play like an anointed musician. You remember? So I spoke to somebody today about power of the mind. It was you. So this is one way this can help. Now I'm going to tell them to play a song. And then I'm going to use that to explain something. You are the reason why I lift my hands. In the key of F sharp. Engineer. Singer, please come. Hallelujah.
You are the reason why I lift my hands, why I lift my voice, why I sing to you. You are the reason I'm alive today, and I am here to say it's all because of you. You are the reason. 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 You are the reason.
Can I have another drummer and another piano player? What you play? Keyboard. Okay. Any other drummer? Hey. Any other drummer? Yes. Yeah. All right, let's go again.
You are the reason why I lift my hands, why I lift my voice, why I sing to you. You are the reason I'm alive today, and I am here to say it's all because of you. You are the reason. You are the reason. You are the reason. You are.
All right. One final category. Piano, please, come play. Or Manny, anybody. Listen. Well, it makes sense. Maybe we'll gather play small third keyboard. Okay, same song. No, any other drummer.
You are my hands, why I lift my voice, it's all because of you. You are the reason I'm alive today, and I am here to say it's all because of you. You are the reason. You are the reason. You are the reason. You are the
So because of time, I'll know two things. I'll say one, then you guys will figure out what the second one is. And that will help you. So first, you notice that when they were going up, none of them had a discussion about how we're going to approach this music. Did you notice? Nobody was trying to say the alpha. Everybody just... Sometimes you might get into an environment where you have to adjust. The first thing you want to do is know the minds of people you're playing with. If not, you're going to frustrate the event. The second thing is, I will demonstrate now with the guys, and then you figure out what the second one is. Yeah? All right, same song.
You are the reason why I lift my hands, why I lift my voice, why I sing.